Solar power in Spain. A lot of people are angry that Spain has essentially privatized the sun. They've put together a consumption tax on solar power via a royal decree. It taxes people who are gathering sunlight on their own. In other words, you can pay to have a professional installation done of solar panels and a large installation with an official utility company. If you choose to have the install done privately, so to speak, you can have to pay, you can be forced to pay a fine of up to 30 million euros for illegally gathering sunlight without paying a tax. The tax happens to be just enough to make sure that homeowners who are gathering and storing solar energy cheaper than the state-sponsored providers have to pay a tax that makes it slightly more expensive, completely disincentivizing the advancement and creativity of ways to harness solar power. I think this is a real problem. I understand why the government is doing it. The Secretary of State for Energy is being labeled a backup toll, and it's high enough to make sure that it will be slightly cheaper to keep buying energy from the current official providers. I think this is a real problem. The equipment has decreased about 80% in Spain in terms of price to harness solar power on your own. If you were thinking, this is really cheap, I'm going to take advantage of this tax essentially makes it a no-win, Lewis.
Yeah, I can't believe I'm hearing this. I don't know what types of taxes like this are the poor citizens of Spain are hit with, but this one is despicable. I can't believe this is happening. I mean, Europe is supposed to be the place where people are pioneering in areas like this.
Well, I understand that the economic situation in Spain is problematic right now. I was just in Spain last week and talking to a lot of different people about the job situation, about the economic situation. I understand that, but there's another way to view this, which is, okay, the government can recoup or get additional tax revenues by doing this. But the other side of it would be, what about a complete energy revolution in Spain by allowing people to save the money by doing the installations without the state-sponsored providers and turn Spain into a bastion of alternative energy over the longer term? And maybe the economic situation is so bad that Spain can't weather the temporary loss of revenue. That's going to be good for Spain in the same way that, well, I don't want to make a direct comparison, but that sugarcane and ethanol in Brazil has been very good for Brazil. And I know that there's still tons of problems, but so it may not be the best analogy, but I just completely disagree that this is the best way to go about it. You're completely disincentivizing people from continuing to develop ways to harness solar power more cheaply by just saying, hey, if you do that, you're going to end up paying the same amount or more than if you just did the kind of tired old thing of going with the state providers. I completely disagree with it.
It's a lack of foresight. And let's keep in mind that with solar power, you can actually pump energy that you collect from the sun back into the grid.
But that doesn't really help the government. The individual gets money for that.
Well,
but
in the long term, it really can. In the long term, it can.
All right, so we're going to keep following the story there. Send me your thoughts. There was actually a diesel tax in Finland at one point with the same idea. Because diesel was providing much better gas mileage, you had to pay an additional tax that kind of took away the benefit, and it just didn't make any sense.